What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we're going to talk about outside the box thinking. You hear those references all the time, and I can't wait to hear what John Fosco's comments are about this topic.
This topic is, I think, so misunderstood. You know, it's like, oh, what a buzzword. Let's all get in a fucking corporate boardroom, and I want thinkers who think outside the box. But the motherfucker leading the goddamn meeting hasn't fucking implemented a new program since he's been working there. So outside the box thinking is doing things that are bold and doing things that are risky and doing things that are unproven and just having the courage to introduce thoughts and systems that people haven't thought about. So outside the box thinking isn't like, oh, we should take our marketing spend and go in this direction. No, I think it's a fantastic topic because what people think it is and what it really is, I think we're going to be able to articulate.
I'm excited about this. Hey, think about outside. Speaking of outside the box thinking, Robinhood.
I like to get in the box sometimes, though, you know?
Whoa! Hey-o.
Donnie!
Robinhood. Go to biceps.robinhood.com and get you a free stock such as Apple, Ford, or Sprint. They thought outside the box in a crazy environment and came out with no trading fees, John, and they took over the world. Robinhood took over the world.
Not even one. Robinhood in this piece. Yeah, all right. So if you're going to buy stock, you go there. Why do you go there? Because you do not pay trading fees. You don't pay commissions. Buy, sell. No fees, guys. If you go to any other brokerage house, online, anywhere, that's what they survive on, fees. Robinhood wiped that out, dude. So literally, if you're buying stock or selling it anywhere but Robinhood, you need a lobotomy.
Download the Robinhood app today. All right. Without further ado, John.
Corey, you need to improve at this.
It's going to be. I mean, I'm not good as Mo, for
sure.
Well,
you got to get the height and the weight kind of.
Yeah, no, but I
was Minute Bowl last
but
episode.
I did that on purpose.
Oh, you fuck.
All right. Coming to the stage from Illinois. 6'6".
That's about right.
242 pounds.
Okay.
Swingman guard.
Okay.
From North Carolina.
Okay.
John Fosco.
Thank you. Everybody cheers.
That was probably closer to what you really
that was
like.
Closer.
That's probably what you wanted to look like.
That was closer. Yeah, it was.
It's me too.
But I'm convinced lifting weights stunts your growth. Yeah. And I got fucked by that Olympic barbell set that I did bench press on 3 times a day. But anyways,
let's go, John.
I want to get into another natural habit that doesn't breed any kind of results or any kind of productivity. That's it's a go through the motion deal that doesn't just live in business. And it's really breaking down the value of small talk and literally breaking it down in an honest.
You love small talk.
No, I hate it.
I know.
In an honest sense. So I want everybody to think about when they see someone and they say, how you doing? I want you to think, if you really want, number one, a response, okay? If they do respond, do you really listen to what it is? And do you really care how they're doing?
My response is always hilarious, and people then always respond back because they have no choice. I say better than average.
Sure. So now we'll move on to the weather. You know, it's such a nice day outside. Fucking go jerk off, dude. Like, what is that going? No. What is that going to do for anybody outside of saying, I feel so awkward right now that there's only one thing I feel like we have in common. It's the motherfucking Mother Nature. And so let's talk about it, because if we talk about anything else, I'm not comfortable. So let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about the fucking ice storm that's coming in 3 days, and let's completely depersonalize everything. Let's speak at a surface level. Let's not go any deeper, and let's not get any value out of this conversation. Small talk is something that most people, I think, are only capable of. And going deep is where you build your most valuable relationships. That's where they're built. They're built on a deep level. And when it comes to business, how can you train? How can you develop? How can you fucking dive into your business if you're not asking deep questions that are intuitive and where you want to provoke answers that you don't have? Yeah. Surface talk is for lazy people. It's for unmotivated people. Anybody who has a great relationship or a great business is not speaking on a surface level. They might greet somebody, right? But after that, they're getting down deep. And it's amazing the uncomfort that just going below the surface can create with somebody. And it's so telling, in my opinion, of their ceiling, right? Because when you try to get a little deeper on someone to understand why they operate a certain way, and you just see their fucking body language start shaking and shit. Exactly. It's like, oh, you're a damaged fucking little wounded animal off the side of the road. You're like a little possum who got their leg clipped by like a Toyota Prius, right? It wasn't strong enough to kill you, but it ran over your leg, and now you're afraid of what you interpret to be a Toyota Prius, and that's me. But at the end of the day, like, you are capping yourself if you do not allow people to dig into you. And at the same time, you should be digging into others, because that's how real bonds are made, and that's how real gains are made in business. And that's how thought moves forward, you know?
Yeah, this is an interesting topic. And really, you probably brought the most awareness to it just since I've known you. We've talked about this off camera a bunch of times. I'm really bad at this now. I can't really remember how I used to interact years ago, but now I just know I'm not very good at it. It almost seems so invaluable. Is that the word I'm looking at, where it has no value?
It's fucking worthless.
Yeah, that I almost can't partake in it, right? So that's when I became, where my answer back, always people don't know really what to say, because I'm like basically saying to them, you don't really fucking care. Okay. And I do believe that most of the time I'm doing better than average. And so when I say that, they just don't know what to say back. And then they don't really know where to go from there. So then it ends. It's fucking hilarious. I've been doing it for the last couple of years, and it's fun. I love it.
Think about if we cut out all the pleasantries, and we walked in a room, whether it be with our friends or at work. Let's say it's at work. And we walked in, we sat down and said, okay, we're on this project. What do you got? Not okay, how you doing today?
Yeah.
Not Jeremy, how's your leg feeling? What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
But if we spend 20 minutes talking about the fact that you had TCBY frozen yogurt last night on your carb spike, because I really don't give a shit about that, right?
Yeah.
We're wasting time, and we're wasting valuable time. And we always talk about time as a finite resource. Mm-hmm. In business, it is the finite fucking resource, and small talk is the ultimate fucking time waster. And nothing great is going to come from it if this is a habit. See, the point here is to break the habit of the addiction to small talk. It's to try to instill in you guys that it's not mean, it's not disrespectful to walk into a room and say, what do you got for me?
Go to the objective. Yeah. I think people think that they have to pass through that stuff to get to the other stuff, but they don't, is what your point is. And I agree 100%.
Yeah. You ever see?
But you think, John, after you actually have a meaningful, let's call it, relationship with somebody, if somebody does care, like your back was hurting. So for me to say, John, how's your back feeling? That's like, because I actually cared to know your answer. Does that seem like it has no value then?
So what I would say is,
I'm trying to give them like a frame it up.
So my back hurting is something that inhibits my performance, right? Because when your disc is slipped, you ain't just your brain ain't operating at full capacity. So to me, I don't know if I'd classify that as small talk, because when it comes to capability for the day and output for the day, that could limit it.
Okay.
Right? Is it bad to talk about other things? No, but I think the key is if all your business is handled, right, and everything is done then you earn it. Then you earn it to talk about like, hey, how are you and your girl doing? Hey,
Yeah.
how's this going? How's that doing? But that is not why we're here.
Yeah.
So I truly don't care about that.
That's why I wondered, like, how do you decipher those things? That's what I'm trying to get out. To see,
Yeah, I
like, how your
decipher
brain-
is I didn't go into business with you to talk about you and your wife.
Yeah.
I went into business with you to make money.
Which is what we do.
Right. That's how I decipher it.
It's funny because even when John calls me and wants to talk about something that isn't business, he almost says it before.
Yeah.
You probably don't even know. Maybe you don't even know you do that, or maybe you do it on purpose.
I think I do that on purpose.
Yeah, because you're like, it doesn't have anything to do with business, but XX, and maybe it's something about fitness or something,
Sure.
you know, that he thinks I'm an expert and I can help him.
Sure.
And it's like, it's funny. I know you, so I know it's coming, but it's like, it's interesting. That's how you process it. The world doesn't process it that way.
Correct.
At all.
Correct.
But I think it's good for the listener to hear that, so they can maybe start to segment it better and they could be more effective. So
Yeah,
well said, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all uncomfortable with our bosses or the people we work with. So what's the easiest way to just kind of get through the door and kind of get to our spot and hide in our little corner?
Yeah.
Right? It's the small talk. It's the bullshit. And I think that is, it's almost like an addiction to putting things off and not dealing with reality.
Yeah.
You know, reality is shit has to be done. Reality is you have to deal with what's in front of you, and if you choose not to, you will find out what happens.
Yeah.
But the dudes, just before we close, it's like, think about any great thinker, CEO, entrepreneur you see. Bro, you ain't never hearing small talk out of their mouth.
No.
They are fucking down the middle, fucking boom, boom, boom. I wonder why they've accomplished so much.
Yeah.
The proof's in the pudding, dude.
Yeah, it's true. Even, I want to say one more thing. Even when I'm talking to somebody that I don't know, I usually go right to find out something that, at least if I'm going to be talking to this person, that I'm going to get some type of value from. Meaning, like, I'd rather know what they do or where they're from or something that has value towards, like if they have a skill, I'd rather hear about that. Even if they tell me about themselves for 3 minutes, at least I'm walking away and I know more about that person than I did. Not just like, hey, what do you think about how nice it is today? Like, that's just fucking stupid. So at least if I'm going to get something, it's got to be of some type of value if I want to know more about this person. So I'd rather just go right to the, yeah, what do you do for a living, man? What, you know, just give me some substance.
Oh, you're a Steelers fan? How about I don't give a fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
How about I don't care?
Yeah.
I'm a Bears fan, so fuck off.
I'm a Steeler fan. Fuck you, Fosco. It's my turn to talk, motherfucker. Let's go.
It's not your turn to talk until it's announced.
Yeah. This guy.
Number one. Number two.
You're the guy with the burger. You're the guy with the burger that's waiting me out right now.
Number two.
You remember that episode, Jeremy?
Number two. It's Corey Gregory time.
All right, John. Thanks for the burger. Appreciate that.
I don't know what that is.
You don't remember when we had the episode and you were talking about power at the fast food joints when they see you standing there, but they're waiting you out on your burger, you fucker.
Oh yeah.
That's
Gotcha.
I was just messing with you.
Yeah.
All right, so something that
Quarter pounder
came to mind the other day was I was starting to think about what are the 3 things that are pretty mandatory for entrepreneurship and just kind of where we kind of, you know, live daily. And I started to think about things that happen to me, things I work on, and things that have probably lent itself to have this level of success that I've had so far. And these 3 things are imagination, self-reliance, and initiative. And I think that there's a million other things probably you could throw in there, but these are the things I kind of came up with. And because, you know, people can say you're a dreamer, but it's the unseen stuff, which we talked about on the last episode, is where the win is. It's taking a product from in your brain, which is what I love to do, from inception, creating it, and then watching somebody utilize it in their workouts or training or wear it as a shirt, whatever it may be, right? It's that stuff that didn't exist that you literally dreamt up in your mind or daydreamed about, imagined about how it would play out, and then taking it to reality. Relying on yourself to do the steps to get it to that point and taking the initiative daily that a lot of people struggle with consistency-wise to get it there. It's like a lot of people maybe have one of these things or two of these things. I think all three of them are extremely important and almost required. But it was just like those three things kind of popped up to me. I figured I'd volley it back with you, John, and just kind of get your thoughts.
So I think if we're speaking in the entrepreneur space, I think imagination is a driver.
Yeah.
I don't know if the employee, the career employee, has a active, actionable imagination, and that is not disrespecting them. I just think
they don't have to do it on a regular basis.
Nor is it in their DNA, right?
Yeah.
They're an employee because they don't let their imagination be free, right? Because imagination, if you're an entrepreneur, is free because the last thing you're thinking about is it right or is it wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think employees think like, is that right? Is it wrong? Motherfucker, it's like art. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't right or wrong. It's your thought.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to take your thought, invest in your thought, share your thought with people, and try to build something around it? That's your choice. But that's how entrepreneurs think.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're talking about that to me is a trait of a natural born entrepreneur. Self-reliance, that's mandatory for anyone who wants to be productive daily. There's no days off on self-reliance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People who bounce around from job to job, they're missing that because that piece of I am responsible, not my boss booked me for an extra 3-hour shift.
Yep.
No. Did you interview for that job with that boss? Yeah. Okay. That job gave you that boss gave you an extra 3 hours. That's more time for you to make money. You asked for that job. No one put it. I cannot handle people who bitch about shit that they asked for. No one put a fucking gun to your head and said, you better work here or I'm fucking pulling this trigger, dude. It's the most obscene, narcissistic thought process to be mad about a financial system, aka your work, giving you more because you want to get home and get on Instagram or talk to your girlfriend. You asked for the job. So when we're talking about self-reliance, you need to be able to rely on your mind. And your mind needs to have something that says, I want to be here.
Yeah.
And because I want to be here, this is what's required of me. I don't need to call my mom to get the strength to fucking do my work here. I need to know that I have it. And if you don't know if you want to be there, fucking don't come to work. Quit, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Just quit.
Your other voices that you go to when you're acting like these people is so amazing.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
It's so good. And then initiative is like, I mean,
initiative is like you're probably living under a bridge somewhere if you don't have it.
Yeah, straight up.
You know what I'm saying? Or
I think the consistent
you're a fucking
initiative,
rich punk.
the consistent initiative to do what we do is ever present though. And I think a lot of people maybe don't understand like the
consistent?
Yeah,
initiative?
or the level of it ever present. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm cool today. Like, but those don't exist.
That's why, 100%. That's why I always compare it to a train that it ain't stopping. It's only picking up speed.
Yeah.
And that's how entrepreneurs win. You know, you talk about momentum. Entrepreneurs win by never slowing down. And never slowing down is built on the back of every day being fucking consistent. Like waking up, going through your fucking motions that are mandatory for your mental health, priming your brain. Guys, when we say this, we're not kidding around. When you wake up in the morning and you're an entrepreneur, it is pregame.
Yeah.
It's pregame. You're out on the field, you're stretching, you're running.
It's true.
That's what it is. If you don't go through this, the motions
every
that
big
are
athlete
required,
has pregame routines,
right,
bro.
Exactly. And what we do daily is pregame. And don't overlook that statement. Don't think it's just a parallel. It's reality, dude. And if we don't prime ourselves, we know this.
Yeah.
We ain't coming out hot.
No. I pregame the fuck out of myself every day.
Well, you pregame with a lot of alcohol.
Oh.
I'm not an Irish drunkard.
Hey, you know what's amazing though?
Yeah.
I walked out into the kitchen today, and John was drinking a energy.
This degenerate.
So he was drinking an energy drink.
Hey, for the record, I woke up earlier than Cory today. Just so everyone knows.
I don't know if I believe that.
Fact.
But so
4:17.
I swear to you, I thought he was drinking a Mick Ultra. And I said to myself,
I said, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I looked at it and I was like, I double taked and I realized it was his other drink of choice. And I go, John, I got to tell you, for some reason,
I thought you were
drinking a Mick Ultra at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, and I'm talking about priming myself.
He goes, that would be legendary.
Yeah, I would be a legend if I did that.
So anyway, back to the point was imagination, self-reliance, and initiative. 3 things you should hopefully you have if you're out here trying to be an entrepreneur. And if you don't, in the streets, because you better really look at yourself. Yeah. All right, time for Butt Life.
All right, everyone, keep on sending us questions at Biz and Biceps on Instagram and Twitter. If we use your question on the air, we'll send out a free t-shirt for you. First question. Knowing that all you guys have had to put in mad work hours to get where you are or master your craft, assuming some of, if not a lot of those hours have been at weird or conflicting times for your family or significant other, causing excessive time away, how far do you go from sacrificing time away from them to put in the work and get that money?
Hey, Chewbacca, can you answer this for me, please?
Oh, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you get away from your family and your you're a fucking pussy, dude. You don't fucking get it. You don't listen to what we fucking like all I want to do is make fun of you and fucking and pretend like I'm crying because you're such a fucking soft motherfucker. Does anything we talk about line up with how do you make it? How do you make it when you're out there just trying to come up and your girlfriend is calling you and your mom wants you to, dude, you don't fucking call her back or you text her and you say, I got to take care of my business and when I got time, I'll give you time. But right now I'm after it. That's how you balance it. It's absolute. Okay, it's absolute. It's not optional, right? If mom wants you at dinner and you can't be there because you're working Sunday, you tell mom that. And if mom fucking loves you, she will support you. But this shit is absolute. This isn't the balancing game at the beginning. At the beginning, you better be ready to put in a hard fucking 20, dude. A hard fucking 20. And it's not a fucking balancing act. It's an all-in, dude. And if people around you don't understand it, they're going to pull you out of it. And they're going to take away your dreams. And they're going to take away everything you want. But you are starting off like a soft little fucking... I don't even ask that question to myself right now. I don't ask that question to myself right now. And I'm fucking good, dude. I'm fucking good, okay? I want more in life, but I'm fucking good. And you're asking this question starting out? The fuck? The fuck is this, Twilight Zone?
Make sure you get that boy's t-shirt.
No, what is this? What is it?
John, it's a major problem we got going on out here in the streets because people here's what I'm gonna key on with what you said is the absolute part. The absolute part people can't understand. And yes, I do have a family. I've been with Rachel this whole process. Like John can attest to this. I've probably talked to Rachel 1.5 times, not even 2, because the second time she was busy.
I think it was 1.3 times.
1.3 times since I've been here, because when I leave, she's handling the family and she knows I'm handling the business because that's what we're doing right now. And I try to be respectful of how much John and I can get done, the amount of time I can spend here, and when I can clip back home. And I do have to balance it more than John does. But the talk that goes on with any family or friends is, yo, this is what it is. Like, this is what's necessary to get this thing and this ball moved down the road. And if I have to turn it back, dude, there was no balance ever. The only required balance now is because I have 3 children, and I was extremely honest with John with all these ventures that it was important to me because I had 0 balance up to that point. For the first 15 years, I had no balance. And my kids are old enough now to where I want to be there for stuff because my dad wasn't there for stuff, right? That's important to me. But at the end of the day, I had no balance. I didn't go out with my friends. I barely took Rachel out. I did not have balance. It just didn't exist. It's not, it doesn't exist if you're really trying to fucking get it. It's just the way it is. Motherfuckers are soft out here. The reason why we win is because we get it done. We've already been in it 20 years. Like John said, we're good if we want to be good, but that's not how we're still pushing the ball forward. You guys are living in a fucking fantasy world right now.
Do you know how easy it would be to beat this guy? Whoever this guy is.
Oh, we win every day because of this question.
Do you know how easy it would be
Come
to
on!
fucking slaughter him? At the age of 19 years old, I would fucking eat him with a soft spoon.
Dude, come on, man. That's what I'm saying. So hopefully you
Toughen up, dude.
Hopefully you learn from that. Next question.
Butt life.
Good job, John.
Q2. Butt life. Q2. Q2 butt life.
How have you guys been able to have such great success with a long-distance partnership? What have been the greatest obstacles for you guys to overcome?
Well, that's semi-true. So we started long distance. We worked in the same place during probably the most tumultuous, toughest time of our business to get it back to where it needed to be. And we travel a lot. So it's kind of long distance. It's kind of not. The answer in short is communication. There is a scheduled time every morning to touch base, whether there's 100 things we need to talk about
or nothing
or zero. That is a firm standing time that we both commit to, we never falter on, and it's consistent. So if you communicate every day and you over communicate, you're talking about things you aren't necessarily on the agenda, on the docket, you're forward looking, man, you are on your shit constantly. But the problem is if there's not a structured time to communicate, then you think, well, we'll talk when we need to. And everyone underestimates the need to talk.
Of course. Here's two things. One, the time in person was mandatory. We didn't realize that maybe, but I'm glad we went through that. One, John and I were doing things that neither of us liked doing, but were mandatory for our partnership to grow and whatever business we were talking about, which was multiple businesses. This business grew, the other business grew, momentum was created. I understand John way more now. I believe he understands me way more now. It's fair to say, right? I mean, so I think that makes the long distance part much better. We still see each other multiple times a month in person. The mandatory time, here's what I want people to understand. If I'm 2 minutes late, I'm going to tell John. If John will text me like, dude, I got in the shower late. I'll be there 8:34.
Right.
Like, you have to take that shit serious. That means a lot. Like sometimes I'm not done lunging till right, and I'm taking it while I'm lunging, or as soon as I get in the truck, or if I just get out. Like we have to have communication because that part right there is so important to the process. And very rarely do I not talk to him at least one or two other times, but sometimes we don't. It just depends on how busy we are.
But that sets the agenda for the day.
Absolutely. And I think that if you think about how we worked in person, there was way less. We literally were like almost like 9 to 5 in person, essentially, right? That's what we did, or 9 to 3. I left at 3 most of the time. But at the end of the day, it was so structured that when we went back to our own worlds, essentially that we came from, unstructured, it still is more productive and better. Does that make sense?
Of course, because the time we put in person gave us that increased understanding.
Yeah, which I think has helped a ton.
Absolutely.
All right, next question.
Butt life Q3.
How do you determine the right business format for you, like an LLC, S corp, or partnership? How did you figure out what was right for you guys?
I think that's going to depend on. We were actually talking about this yesterday.
Yep.
If you plan on letting the money pass through to you as an individual and the partners, or keeping the money in the business, there's different tax setups for C corps, S corps, LLCs. So everyone has individual financial needs. Ultimately, the need of the business should always come first. But how did we determine it? We determined it based on a general consensus, based on an agreement.
And the laws changed. The laws have been changing in certain tax brackets with Trump signing all these laws and stuff. So yeah, tax abatements for whatever. That's a whole other thing. But at the end of the day, here's what I would recommend. Don't try to do it on your own. Like find a professional that can help you with this and really lay out where your objectives are what your goals are from when this money passes through. First of all, I would say most people do start as an LLC. because they don't know what it's going to yield. And then you can opt to change into an S Corp or C Corp.
Yeah,
We've
you can
done
elect to
both.
change
So you can elect to
anytime.
change as your business starts. So most people start in the LLC and then pivot into what makes the most sense.
A lot of pivoting.
Yeah, boy. Hit that hitter, boy. Time for the main event.
Jeremy, just fucking ring the bell already.
John,
Corey,
what are you doing with this sweet potato?
I'm fucking just,
Grocery shopping?
shopping like a boss.
So when you go grocery shopping with John, he bought a pan and a spatula just for what we were making last night, which was amazing.
Listen,
I like living on the bachelor level when I come down here.
Time out. If you're going to have 93% lean ground beef, if you have a spatula that's made of any sort of plastics, you can't chop it well, right? You can't fucking
Agreed.
dice it. But if you buy a metal one, right, which I did last night, which was very necessary, you can dice it. It's almost like a wobbly knife.
It's so good.
And it yielded a great
Cajun red pepper.
Yes.
That me and
seasoned
John,
beef.
that
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
and I made. So good.
Do,
All right.
Yes.
So that was outside the box thinking, John. I think for us to cook and actually not go out to eat.
Yes. Yes, it was.
But what does it really mean when you think about it? What is outside the box, John?
Are you trying to be sexual here?
No,
Because this could go south.
no. Let's talk about what when
Okay,
people hear it,
okay.
what they believe it is, what you believe it is.
I think when people hear outside the box thinking, they believe that it's like, I'm going to come up with a new way to look at this idea. When it's, to me, that's selling yourself and your business short. It's like, that could be, the context obviously it wasn't given there, but I've been saying this a lot in my personal life as well, but it's like finding the courage to be bold, just absolutely be bold and come up with an idea that you think might have some legs. And yeah, there's a good chance people think it's not a good idea, and there's a good chance it won't work. But you have to be bold enough to bring it to the table and present it to people, because at the end of the day, all the greatest inventions, all the greatest businesses, they were bold fucking ideas that nobody believed would work,
of course,
when they started them. But someone was bold enough to say, no, I think it's a good idea. And then they had their little posse, their little group, like, yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from, right? But too many people, before they can get to that Zuckerberg moment where he says, oh, I'm going to make a network so people can look at students at Harvard and see how good looking they are. But before that, well, if I talk to my friends about that, they're probably going to think I'm stupid, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my degree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think outside the box is letting it, almost giving yourself the permission to think freely, fear of without the fear of judgment, and then asserting it boldly while at the same time being open to feedback in a non-personal way. So if Corey, you bring something to me and it's bold and it's new, and I say, hey man, dope idea, but there's a huge hole right here.
Sure.
And if you defend it hard, you're not allowing the process to take place. You just want to assert your idea, and you want to be right.
Let's not defend it with numbers like John Fosco.
You have to defend it with numbers or some kind of analytics,
sure,
right? But I just think outside the box is being bold enough to present an idea and being okay with the thought that it may not work.
Here's a good example, I think, that is personal to us is, I did 7-8 years of supplements at a high level. And then when we start Max Effort Muscle, you're not from that industry, which I loved, but had to be okay with, because you're going to bring things that are completely new to the equation, right? You've been around supplements. You've lifted weights your whole life.
I'm a fucking bodybuilder, dude.
Of course. But you never really sold supplements before. The process was, new. Well, you sold them in export, but it's different having your own brand.
Yeah, I sell everything.
Yeah. So I think that it was refreshing, though, to me, to have an outside person of the industry. And this is what a lot of people in the corporate stuff try to find, right, John? They think it's a new program. What you really need to do is bring somebody completely outside your industry into the boardroom and say, what do you see from the outside in? Understanding, but not in depth with it, because then those ideas are fresh. Then you can apply things from your background of still marketing, but marketing something completely different and being around it, but never being in it. And I think that's when you bring guys in like us that are from different spots and we get in these square essential environments, there's all kinds of stuff that's real obvious to us real quick, right?
Yeah.
And I think similar was to you. And I didn't understand until we worked in person and on this project together how good you were at that stuff. I knew you were good at numbers. I knew you were good at these other things. Those are all things that I said in the beginning I needed a lot of help with. I didn't realize those things. But until you give somebody the opportunity to say, hey, I see this, and this. And then you're like, and realizing for me, this is a whole different deal. This isn't the same business. And it's not the same decade.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting, I think giving listeners just real-time examples, everybody in our organization, great ideas, but I think when we started out, I think there was a frame of thought, at least that I felt from you, that like, hey man, I'm the supplement guy, like try to figure out the business, but I'm right. And I understood it, right? I understood it, but I knew it wasn't true in terms of limiting my potential. I know you didn't mean to limit my potential, but you didn't, like
I didn't know.
You didn't know.
Yeah.
So for example, I remember being in a meeting with you and Dustin right at the beginning. And it was like, all right, we can do some very geographically relatable stuff by changing the colors. And I remember the feeling I got from you two, like, Muscle Farm was green, dude. We ain't fucking with the colors.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
I remember feeling really strong about that.
Yeah.
Because it worked so many $1 million level that way.
Right. And I understood it and I respected it. But at the same time, it was just like, this is DTC, direct to consumer.
Yeah, it's a different ballgame.
And we have to try to connect with people not in GNC. So like, I felt super strongly. And to your credit, you were like, all right, man, let's
fucking try it.
Let's see how it works.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was taking obviously your expertise from experience on other things, but that at the time was a bold outside the box idea because it wasn't being done before.
No one did it. Yep.
Right. So
but it seemed glaring to you. Like
it was so clear. It was unbelievable.
But what's so interesting, if you think about that process though, John, was you were taking a statement I said about the bodybuilding.com days with the free t-shirts and applying it through your washing machine of how we should do it.
Correct.
In your mind with connecting to the geographical areas, which has worked amazing. I was only attaching to, I was so dead set on these certain colors. To my point though, our bottles haven't shifted a lot of colors, but our gear did. So it's like, I think that I was thinking like, no, we weren't going to have a color we relied on. And we still don't really necessarily only rely on orange. I mean, the colors are all over the place. So it's like
you barely never see orange.
Exactly, which is cool. But the branding itself has stayed very consistent from a standpoint of product. But the gear, people love having all the colors. But yeah, I remember that. I remember initially felt really strong. But then here's the thing is I started to realize, I'm like, look, John is looking through this at a different lens. I'm looking at it at a different lens.
Yeah.
I've never tried it that way.
Right.
What if we would have had a fucking blue shirt in Muscle Farm? It might have worked. I don't know because I never tried it.
Right.
So why not try it? Because then you have real analytics to figure it out. I think it's a great point. I think we have a lot of these kind of scenarios that we'll start to, they pop in my head as we're talking about these topics. Cool.
I can't wait to be able to talk about our next venture, and we will talk about it once it's up and running, and we can point to it. But we're going through the same shit right now. And we talked about a bold idea the other day in terms of application. Now, we're not going to get too deep into it, but again, it's an idea that doesn't exist. But could it work? Could.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
And could it sell? Probably.
And I hate to not have our listeners in on this at this moment, but they will be soon enough.
Yeah.
And there's going to be so many lessons. And once again, just like everything we do, you guys can follow along.
Yep.
And we'll talk about the outside the box ideas that either led to a successful endeavor or a failing one. Not the overall endeavor, because we're gonna fucking smash it, motherfuckers.
Always.
And I encourage anyone to try to compete with us, because we'll fucking smash you. But anyways, what I would say is that, you know, there are ideas that don't work, but the key is, if the idea doesn't work, you can't have so much invested into it that it sinks your business.
When I always think about outside the box, when I'm talking to, let's call it,
I get a lot of thoughts when you say that.
oh, Jesus. When I think about outside the box, and
Didn't we have what was it, pie the other night, or no, peace pie?
peace pie.
Yeah, they had like pie in the ice cream.
Yes, it was good too.
This is awesome.
You're talking small talk for me right now, John. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, so I don't know.
Just messing with you.
I don't know what happened.
So anyway, what I was saying was, now I'm all messed
Shout
up.
out to Warrant.
What? Oh, it's cherry pie. You got to drop that. Jeremy's not old enough to even know that song.
Jeremy's a pervert. He knows it.
She's my cherry pie.
Yeah, your voice.
So good. I've
We'll
been
have
coughing
Jeremy
for.
can drop it in.
All right, so
Jeremy's a big fan of the band Winger. But
yes, Winger.
Winger, Christian rock, dude.
Winger.
Very nice, Jeremy.
Beavis and Butthead's the only reason why I know Winger, John.
Jeremy is a huge fan of the band Striper. Look him up.
All right. Anyway, what I was thinking was, I don't even know what I was thinking. I can't remember my thought now. I was like thinking Beavis and Butthead. Terrible. All right, let's wrap this up though. Outside the box, don't be scared. If there's thoughts that are entering your mind that don't fit inside of the drone mentality, it's okay. It's okay to then search those out, write them down, look into them, you know, take the imagination, the self-reliance and initiative, and take them to market fruition, make it happen. It's okay. Like, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, but I'm thinking it should be like this. Voice it. Voice it if you think you can add more
step
value.
number one.
Voice it.
Share
Like,
it.
tell people, share it.
Yeah.
And guess what? Probably 9 out of 10 of them are going to be like, that's fucking stupid, or that's never going to work. But that doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, like Nick Diaz said, don't be scared, homie.
Don't be scared, homie. It's going to happen. A lot of people thought
Out in
the
the
shit
streets.
I was
Out in the
spitting was
streets.
never going to happen, and it did. So you can't rely on them to do it for you, so it doesn't matter anyway what they think. But at the end of the day, it's like, I always felt like if we were in a baseball diamond, that I was literally in the fucking parking lot, or I was in the bleachers. I was never inside the diamond. I always felt that way about the things that I was doing, because when I would circulate my thoughts, they felt like crazy town to most people. And that's where that certain small percentage of people can go out and take that imagination into a reality. And just don't be scared to go try it if that's how your brain operates.
Yeah. I back to what we both just said. It's the first step, and everything is in steps. You can't be, you know, Superman when it comes to confidence immediately, but you need to share your ideas that you think are bold and need to be heard. You need to find the confidence to share them. That's step one, to thinking outside the box. Because when you share them with people who can band together with you and, you know, either start something with you or implement it in the company, now we're talking, right? And then when one thing is implemented, then you start rolling. Then you start to understand the system. Then you start to understand the politics of how to present ideas and this and that and the other. And you also get some confidence that your ideas are good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm fucking very egotistical and cocky when it comes to that. Like, I know my ideas are good. You know what I'm saying?
Go.
Like that. But that's how I think. I'm not. No, I know they're good. But anyways, yeah. But that's I think where you get to.
Yeah.
You get to that place.
It's almost like, think about this. Think about an athlete that knows he got game. It's
Right.
really similar, I think.
I was talking to Kevin Durant last night, and what he said to me
In your dreams.
No, he called me. And what he said
No,
is
he
when yeah, he did. And what he said was, last time me and him played one-on-one, it was hard for him because I'm not in the NBA. He is. I don't know if you heard. So it was really hard for him because I beat him in 21 by 14 points.
Wow.
Yeah, so he had to get over that mental hump, but the only way he did,
Like liking my dunk video?
think outside of the box.
Oh,
He started thinking
okay.
outside of the box because he was like, wait, I'm the best player in the NBA. Even though you beat me by 14, you're not in the NBA. That is an outside of the box thought.
So, such a great way to wrap it up.
Insightful.
Very insightful. All right. It's brought to you by Robinhood, John. No trading fees.
It is brought to you by Robinhood. and there are no trading fees. And all you guys who have money on the sidelines, I would say it could be a good time. I'm not going to make any specific recommendations, but to get involved, man, to get involved in the market. And when you're buying stock, there's a premium on every stock, but the last thing you want to do is pay a trading fee, right?
Yeah.
And if you make money on it, you got to pay tax on it. So why pay a commission fee, right? Yeah. Those don't exist at Robinhood. Go to, what is it, Biceps?
Biceps.robinhood.com and redeem your free stocks such as Apple, Ford, or Sprint. Download the app today. Maurice Claret.
Yo, I'm right here, man.
Johnny Fosco.
Yo.
Can the podcast be stopped? The podcast can't be stopped. Mother, tell your children not to walk my way.